Hello, everyone. This is unusual. I have to be in an unusual position to do the show today, but I have to do this to show examples of what I'm going to be exploring here today. Today, what I'm going to be doing is explaining to you about how bilateral symmetry is used in deciphering ancient art. But first, you might probably wonder, what the heck is bilateral symmetry? Well, okay, I'm gonna have to get down a little bit, show you an example. Bilateral symmetry means that everything is divided equally and in halves, or in other words, uh, well, one eye over here, one eye over here, one nostril here, one nostril here, one ear there, one ear here, one hand over here, one hand over there, one hand over here, left arm, right arm. In other words, right down the middle is bilateral symmetry. The right side and the left side combined is bilateral symmetry, left and right. Another right down the center with the eyeball and nose, right down the very center is bilateral symmetry. Now that you understand bilateral symmetry, I got to let you know how it's used within ancient art. A lot of people don't know, including my own Northwest Coast people, that bilateral symmetry is already in Northwest Coast art. If you notice my art piece here, totem pole, same design, right down the middle. Look, it's going right down the middle. See, there's a left eye, there's this eye over here, there's left eye over here, left eye over here. You know, the half image left and a right to the thing. In other words, there's this side, and then there's this side, and then the front side. The bilateral symmetry is all of that, all combined and rolled into one. So that's kind of how bilateral symmetry is used in totem pole art, by using this totem pole itself as an example to show you how it is utilized to create art. Now that you understand bilateral symmetry, I'm going to show you another piece of art. Another Northwest Coast design that's here. And if you look at it, it looks similar to how this is. Because if you look, it looks like it's a half image, no different than this image over here. See if you notice that. And it's kind of like similar to that. But if you use bilateral symmetry like I was talking about, and you utilize that, you put another half on this side where there's a second tooth and the snout and the eye, and you put a left and a right side together. When you do that with this artwork or this totem pole artwork, when you add the other half to this side view, it'll turn into a front view. Because when you use bilateral symmetry, you now what has a side view has now become a total front view with two teeth to this beaver. So this is using two examples of Northwest Coast art to explain bilateral symmetry and how it was utilized to make ancient art. So this is the basic structure of bilateral symmetry, a left and a right side. So now we got that out of the way. Now I'm going to show you how bilateral symmetry was utilized in ancient art. But first what I have to do is get the ancient art to do that. So hold on, be right back. This is going to be a little hard because of the glare of the light, because I didn't expect the light to be so bright. This is a Northwest Coast design that's on a flat piece. See? Flat. Flat. No tricks. Straight in the frame. It's in the frame. Northwest Coast artwork that's laid out the way it is right here. So you see it as it looks right here in Northwest Coast art. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize this bilateral symmetry. Remember that word, bilateral symmetry, a left and a right side. Hmm? One side, the other side. Right down the middle, a left and a right side. So now that you've seen it in a flat piece, watch, I'm going to show you how this is going to utilize and work with ancient art. So just bear with me, because this is going to be fun, because trying to make this work earlier was no fun, because I realized that there was a serious glare that I just couldn't get out of the, the decipherment. So bear with me. Now if you'll notice, the flat piece that you just looked at, that was, I just showed you a little earlier, is now in this crystal ball. And why is it in a crystal ball? I'm going to show you in a second here, but first let me get this set up so this is not too much glare, because I don't want too much glare now, because I want you to see the example without the glare. Oh, maybe that book is too high. Maybe I should put it down and put that over there, then I can, maybe this will work better. Let's see. Hey, I think this might be the route. Then I can show you what I'm trying to explain. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. Okay, let me see. Move it up a little bit. Over here, and there. Pull that down about more. Over here, to there, to here. And then to there. There's going to be a little bit of glare, so bear with me. But I think I got it pretty much in place. Now if you notice, the Northwest Coast artwork that you're seeing here has a left and a right side too. But now it's holographic. It's in a 3D form. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit so you can see that there's that side, and then there's that side. And you utilize it, you put it in the center, and then you get it back to where it belongs, into this center point. See if I can do this right. There we go. So you got to make sure that everything is centered perfectly for this effect to work. Because if you don't, it'll be off kilter. That's why I take so much care in trying to make it situated. See? Now you notice that there was a left and a right channel, and now you can see that it's holographic in its form, that it's 3D. So this is basically how you could turn a two-dimensional flat object into a holographic 3D form. And through this process, you could turn any bilateral symmetry artwork, which is basically any ancient indigenous art in the world, basically, but more specifically, Northwest Coast totem pole art is perfect for giving an example of this visual language. There's no nouns, pronouns, adjectives, or any of that, verbs, or whatever you want to call them, or grammar things in it, because it is made up of ancient symbols, and it's made up of ancient designs that, when combined, create visual imagery. In other words, it can create pictures by using ancient symbols and combining the symbols in such a way, in such a form, with ovals and all of the shapes that go with it, that you can create a holographic form of art. So I just wanted to show you this example to start with from my own people, because I'm from the Northwest Coast. Just in case people don't know, I'm enrolled with the Quinault Nation of Washington State. My great great grandfather was Clatsop Nehilim, which is part of the Chinook Nation down by the Columbia River. My mother's side is from La Push. My grandmother's from Ozette. They're connected to Nia Bay, which are the Makah. Makah are connected to the Vancouver by trade. Vancouver's connected to Haida Gwaii by trade. In other words, my mom and my grandmother's family are the trade network extended north from Tahola, from where I was born and where I lived. Well, I wasn't born there, but I lived there. I was born in Aberdeen, which is my harbor. Grace Harbor is my harbor. And then my great great grandfather, Charles Calty, he was Clatsop Nehilim of the Chinook Nation, and he lived at the mouth of the Columbia River. And from the Columbia River down to Mount Shasta, they controlled the trade all the way down to northern California. And then you combine my great great grandfather with my grandmother's side in Ozette and my mom's La Push side, and my dad's Quinault side, and then the end product was me. Basically, I was born into being into a trade network. And my mother's side extended all the way up into Canada from Washington, and my father's side of the family extended from Tahola all the way down to the Columbia River and all the way down to Mount Shasta in northern California. And Lovelock Cave was one of our trade networks. I went from Tillamook to Teotihuacan. As a matter of fact, Lovelock Cave was a direct alignment for the route that we used for getting trading in gold at Round Mountain in Nevada, which is the largest gold deposit in the world. And from that point on, we took the gold that we took coming from Tillamook, and we took it down to Teotihuacan, where they turned it into jewelry and art. But that's a whole nother story. We'll get back to this, what I was talking about. This piece right here is flat. What you're seeing in here is holographic. It's 3D. Now I'm going to show and pull it out, turn it around, and I'm going to show you what it looked like without the 360 spear. Now people are going to get all weird about, the crystal ball. It's no hocus pocus. It's no magical mumbo jumbo. No, it's taken bilateral symmetry, or in other words, my totem pole art or ancient art, and running it through a 360-degree spear. So the law of physics will distribute it into a 360-degree globe shape, which turns a flat piece of artwork into a holographic form. And then you can see it in the round. So I needed to get this out of the way to begin with, because in order to understand where I'm going to go with the next workshop, you've got to understand the basics of where this art came from. The same technique is used by the Maya. They use ovals. They use the same similar art as we do, and it does the same as our work too. It's holographic. As a matter of fact, the Maya down there are pretty much the people, of the rainforest of, Central America. We're just the people of the rainforest of North America, or, Washington, Oregon State. But we're both rainforest people, basically, the Maya and us. And we both pretty much have the same similar concept when it comes to ancient art and how it is used in holographic imagery and visual language. So this was my example to show you how Northwest Coast work is very vital in understanding this ancient art system. So now that we got that out of the way, we'll go into the southwest part of this thing. But now you got the basics. Now let's get started. Oh, my bed's too far away. Okay. Now my chair is falling apart. I just want to get my workbook here so I can give you an example of more of what I'm talking about. But okay, here we go. We're going to start at the beginning. Back in the 90s, when I was a fine, strapping young man, I was actually a student at the University of New Mexico, and I was studying to be a art studio major, and I minored in art history. I did get a BS from the University of New Mexico, and I graduated with an art studio degree, and I did get all my studies in for my minor for art history. But to be a part of my art history class, I had to do some research papers. I want to show you proof here how serious Native people are taken when it comes to our own culture, and how foreigners don't even understand or comprehend anything that we have here, and why it's important to have native people involved. Indian experts just don't get it because they're not native. Probably the main thing right there. So right here in glorious color is a Mimbres piece of art. The reason I'm bringing this here is that if you'll notice my little finger there, and I'm trying to get it in so the glare isn't too bad, but it's glaring out anyway, regardless of what I do. There it is, Roger Culty. What does it say? Art history. It even has the course number on it that it was when I was at UNM. And what does it say below that? Research paper. This was my research paper on finding hidden images in Mimbres art. I presented a paper at the university level, and I was hoping that it would get some attention because it was like taking everything to them on a silver platter, which they thoroughly, pretty much threw in the trash can. They didn't take anything I ever had to say seriously, and they're still going on their little tangent about what they think Mimbres art is and not what it really is, which is really annoying because I actually took it to them and showed them exactly how the technique, the process, and everything that came along with it. But no, they wouldn't take me serious. No, it's just my imagination. Those Indian experts, they know it all. So this is my proof that I was presenting this back in the 90s at a university level and wasn't being taken very serious at all. Okay, what we're going to have to do here is start with number 1. Okay, if I remember how to count. Okay, see my finger right here, where it's pointing to? This is a Mimbres bowl. It looks confusing there, but I'm going to show you how it started out first before I get going here. Oh, let's start at the beginning. Meanwhile, back at the University of New Mexico, I was doing my research paper. I had to do a paper on Fuchs, who was doing studies here in New Mexico on Mimbres art. While I was reading a book, they were telling me that what you're looking at here in this image is a stylized bird. Like it's 2 eyes and its little wing and all of that, stylized bird. But that's what they say it is on a university and a college level worldwide. As a matter of fact, it's not even debated that maybe it's, more than that. But this is a Mimbres bowl from New Mexico. This is from southern New Mexico, and it was created by the Mimbres people who lived down there around the 800, 900 era, close to maybe 1000 AD. They were pretty much the northern trade capital for Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan traded at 1900, 19.50, latitude, and uh, they their trade network extended all the way up to 29.25 north, which is pretty much a place called Pacaimi, Chihuahua. In other words, Pacaimi was the northern capital for the Teotihuacan trade network. As much as if you go down to 9.75 south, that's the Teotihuacan trade network. So basically, kind of what that is. So this right here is what they consider to be a stylized bird by all of the universities and Bukes and all of those people that are like that. But from an indigenous perspective, this is what it really is. There's your stylized bird over here. There's your stylized bird over there. See? Two stylized birds. And what's the difference about these stylized birds? Okay, I'll tell you what the difference is. One is set to left and the other is set to right, which in other words is bilateral symmetry, a left and a right. And what do you do when you put those two images? You take the one image that they're looking at, that the public is looking at, and the university see as a stylized bird, you flip one over, you make it a left, and you flip the other one over, and you make it a right. And you take the two sides, and what you do is you move it down here. This is number 2. This is the second step. You take those two images that you're looking at, and what you do is you start to bring them together. If you notice, they're apart here, and now you're starting to push them in together with this one right here. See? They're pushing together, and they're starting to come together. Now that's step number 2. Now we're going to go to step number 3. Step number 3 is pretty much an extension of what you just did on step number 2. You're pushing it still closer together, and you've noticed it's starting to take a round shape, which it didn't have before. It's starting to turn round. That's step number 3. Step number 4 is down here. Step number 4 is pushing it in even more, and if you notice, there's a face form that's starting to shape right there. It's not totally formed yet, but it's starting to form, and the circular edges are starting to turn holographic. So that's the next step that's on there. So what you do after that, you take that image again and you push it even closer together. Now look, the face is even more pronounced. Now you can see a nose, the eye, the cheeks, and if you look down here, you can see a serpent forming with his mouth over here, and there's even rattles starting to form on the top up here where the rattles are, and scales and so forth. What you're doing is with this one, you're pushing it still closer together, and you're trying to bring it in even tighter. When you get to that point, then you finally bring it down to here, and what you do when you bring it down to here, you bring it in even tighter. And if you notice, it's even more pronounced now, because if you look, the face, the nose, the eyelids, the cheeks, they're all very pronounced. And the serpent that was down here at the bottom, you can see his teeth, you can see his eyes, you can see his paws, and you can see all that. And way up here on this end is the rattle. It's right at the very top here, and it's on the very edge of this rim here. So this is kind of much, the end product of pushing all these imagery together till you could get it to this point. And why you're going to get it to this point, I'll show you in a second. But I want you to soak in the image first to see what the final image really looks like. Okay, now I'm going to show you what you do with this image. Okay, everybody. Let's hope I do this right without messing it up, because this is the fun part. There's going to be glare, so I apologize. But if you'll notice, you can see the whole face in 3D. When I rotate it, you can see the nose moving, the cheeks as he's going to the left, and as he's going to the right, and then you put it right down the center, you can actually see the face in the round, the nostrils, the whole works. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty good layout of, the whole thing. So I'm going to see if I could make it a little tighter for you to see better, but everything's reversed here, so I got to do it just right or I go the wrong way. That's a little bit better, but the glare is still there. But as if you notice, it's in 3D. If I go this way, you can go all the way to the cheek. You go that way, it goes all the way to the other cheek, and you bring them back into the center, and you can actually see the entire full face. So there's the entire face right there of the Mimbres. Well, what you're seeing right here is an actual New Mexican Mimbres face looking at you, because that's kind of what it amounts to. It's a Mimbres face, and it's pretty much giving you an idea what ancient New Mexicans looked like back in the 900s in that area. So this is kind of basically how this operates, so you can see. There we go. Even the nostril. There we are. Now I hope this gives you a good example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, play you a short clip, and when I come back, I'll show you a few more examples out of here, which are kind of hard to do because of the glare, but at least you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how these work. These examples I'm showing are from the Maya. The first one that I'm going to show is the holographic form of how this works. So, well, there's not going to be any sound to it, so I'm going to explain it all right now. The first one is going to be a holographic example to show how it looks through a crystal ball and how this Messiah figure is formed in the decipherment technique and how it's viewed through a crystal ball. The second part is multiple images. Multiple imagery, what do I mean by that? You can take one piece of ancient art, and with that one piece using bilateral symmetry, you can create multiple imagery just from that one piece. But me just talking about it is one thing. But what I'm going to do is I'd rather just show you. So here goes an example. So I'm going to remove myself and I'm going to show you. This one is holographic. The second one is multiple. That's how the imagery works. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through this book and show you a few of the examples on here because I got a whole book full of them, but I don't think I can show you all of them. But what I can do is show you, some of these that are, I guess you could call them my favorites in a sense, because much as people think black and white is, old school and all of that, it's really, not that old school. Ooh, maybe it's that old. Maybe it is old school. Okay. This might be a little harder to do. Maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna show you in a folder. Let's see if I can. Oh! That's what I was worried was going to happen. I don't have to worry anymore. It happened. Ah. Okay. That didn't work. So let me get this together. Pull that back up. Because now I know that didn't work. Oh, glad nothing broke. Oh, shoot. That's terrible. Sorry about that, everybody. Ah, okay. Jeez. Oh my goodness. All I'm trying to do is show you an example of the artwork. But this is kind of new to me because without Colleen here, I'm kind of doing everything on my own. But what I'm going to try to do is see if I could find, um, share my screen and get to a folder. And let's see. I think it was window or was it entire screen? I think it was the entire screen. Let's find out here. I hope I'm right. Hmm. Hmm. Can't seem to get it to go. I don't want to share. Maybe get closer. Maybe that's the problem. Hmm. Maybe that's the one. Not too sure, but we'll find out. Okay, everyone, I'm back, and I just want to let you know that I wanted to play a song for you that I really wanted to do, and I'm not sure if I. Well, let me try one more time. If I can't do it, I'm going to end the thing right now. But let's see here.